What's up, guys? Priceless Parlays back with another early prediction and breakdown video for UFC Kansas City, Prates versus Ian Machado Garry. Before we get started, I did want to point out that my boss is being a super dickhead at work and keeps walking around telling everybody, "Oh, did you see Tommy's video? How many times he says, but. Yeah, man, shut the fuck up. Okay? I know I'm not good in front of the camera yet. I'm working on it. Lay off, dude. Jesus Christ. We're going to see how many times I say but in this video. It better be fixed because this motherfucker's been on my ass about it. Jesus Christ, dude. It's got me fired up. Make sure you tune in next week on Wednesday when they release the more specific odds on FanDuel and DraftKings so I can fill y'all in on where I'm putting my bets, where I'm putting my money, the parlays I'm going to be running. All that stuff's going to be on Wednesday, maybe early morning Thursday. So make sure you come back, check us out on Wednesday. That's where we'll be going over the parlays. Tonight, I'm not giving you my bets. I'm giving you my predictions on who's going to win. Come Wednesday, when I put my bets in, I will most likely not be betting on who is going to win and more over 2.5, under 2.5, so-and-so by knockout, the fight to end in knockout. It'll be a little bit more specific, give us a better chance at winning some money, you know? Tonight, I'm just going to be giving you my picks on who I think is going to win and why. On Wednesday, I'm going to be putting in a $100 to win $100,000 parlay. Done this for the past couple weeks. The way we're going to do it is if you've subscribed to the channel, comment on this video. Tell me what you think is going to happen. But I don't mean tell me, oh, I think Ian Garry's going to win by decision. That's cool and all. I want you to go and find either an underdog or a long shot pick and comment it below. If I use it in the parlay and the parlay hits, I'll be sending you $2,500. I need 4 legs for this parlay. I'm going to put the 5th one in. So I need 4 people to give me something here. Give me, like for instance, last week, Dominic Reyes by knockout round 1. That probably would have been like the best one. That was a plus 700, you know. If you throw that in with Dan Ige by knockout or Paddy Pimblett by knockout, because that was, everybody thought that was going to be by submission or decision. Those kind of things, throw it in the comments. If I use it and it hits, that's $2,500 in your pocket. Now, it's probably not going to hit. That's why it's a long shot parlay. But one day it's going to hit. One of these days, I'm going to post one of these 100 to win $100,000 parlays, and it's going to hit, and 4 people are going to be getting $2,500. Don't miss out, because it could be this weekend. It could be next weekend. I don't know. But it's going to happen eventually. Also, this dude in the comments, relax and take care, 3438, put me in my place the other day because I said Marco Tulio was easy money. You're right. It wasn't easy money. But he did look good. He was beating the shit out of Tresean Gore. And Tresean Gore wasn't going away. He was just backpedaling and cracking Tulio and had me scared. I thought I was going to lose all my money. Tresean Gore is a tough son of a bitch. Marco Tulio is a badass. It wasn't easy money. I said easy money, but it's kind of easy money. You know, we knew it was going to be knockout or decision. I mean, come on, dude. Marco Tulio came through in the clutch. Let's get into the first fight of the night. It's Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. I'm going Jocelyn Edwards, and here's why. Chelsea Chandler, I don't know if she's related to Michael Chandler, but you remember when Michael Chandler turned his back from Charles Oliveira and ran away and just kept running, and you thought it was a joke, and it ended up not being a joke. That was just his defense. Well, Chelsea Chandler did the same exact thing with Norma Dumont. She turned around and ran away. And she ended up not getting knocked out because of it. She ended up surviving to a decision. She's never been finished. She's 6-3, all 3 losses by decision. And I'm going to trust her to turn around and run away whenever Jocelyn Edwards cracks her. So on Wednesday, when I do do my bets, I'll probably do Edwards by decision because Chelsea Chandler is probably not going to get knocked out. She's probably just going to run away. So Jocelyn Edwards by decision is my most likely outcome. But yeah, Jocelyn Edwards is my official pick for that fight. We get into the second fight of the night. Timothy Kawamba versus Roberto Romero. Neither of these guys have won in the UFC yet. Kawamba's 0-2 and Romero's 0-1. So I did all my research looking at their fights from the local scene. And I'll tell you, Romero looked better. He looked a little bit more technical. Kawamba looks like they both look good, man. I don't know if it's octagon jitters is why they haven't gotten a win yet. I know that Lucas Almeida's a tough outing for Kawamba, and Romero had to fight David Onama, so they're not fighting scrubs, So one of them is about to get a win. I don't know. I think it's going to be Romero. I think Romero ends up edging it here, and I think he gets it done by decision. Though I don't know who the favorite or the underdog is in that fight because they have not posted the odds yet on any of the apps that I use. And I don't think they've posted that on the UFC's website yet either. But I'm guessing that Kawamba's going to be a slight underdog. So I'm going to go with Romero on that one. He'll probably be a little slight favorite. But yeah, Romero, that's my official pick, most likely by decision. And then we get into my most confident pick of the night, Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. Amorim. That is my most confident pick on this entire card. She's a pretty big favorite, at least 4-1. And she's 9-1 in her career with quite a few wins coming by submission. And Polyana Viana has quite a few losses by submission. You see where I'm going here? I'm thinking if Jacqueline has 9 wins and they're all by finish on Wednesday, my pick's going to be under 2.5. And this is a girl fight. I don't ever bet under 2.5 in a girl fight. And when I do, it goes under 2.5 because the last time I did it was that Molly McCann fight where she retired. So this will be my first time doing that since then. Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana under 2.5 rounds. I will probably also bet on the fight to end in submission. I'll probably be doing that instead of doing Amorim by decision because I know Polyana Viana has good jiu-jitsu herself. She's got 8 submission wins, but 2 submission losses. So I see this fight ending in submission. I see it going under 2.5 rounds, but I do see Amorim coming out victorious in this fight. But we will see. Amorim by submission. That's my pick. And now here we have my first underdog pick of the night. Cameron Simon versus Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm taking Simon here. And the reason why is because he's good. He just had 2 losses to Christian Rodriguez and Peyton Talbot. And those losses don't really mean that, he can't handle a UFC newcomer in Malcolm Wellmaker. This is Malcolm Wellmaker's debut. He's 8-0. He's got a good bit of knockouts. Cameron Simon's got a good bit of knockouts. Cameron Simon's got short T-Rex arms, and Malcolm Wellmaker's got long. And he's got that hook. He's got this check hook I saw a lot in the Contender Series. I really like it. I'm definitely thinking if Wellmaker gets it done, it's going to be by knockout. Simon's coming off of a knockout loss, but he does have a couple knockout wins in the UFC over Terrence Mitchell and Steven Kozlov. So Cameron Simon, that's my pick. He's a slight underdog. He might not be an underdog for long, but I'm sure on Wednesday when I put my bets in, it'll probably be on this fight to end in knockout. But yeah, Simon, that's my pick there. All right, let's get into my man Damon Blackshear, who I lost all that money on when he fought the left hand of God back in the day. He's fighting Alatang Haley or Haley Alatang. It's listed in different ways on different websites. I'm using SureDog. So how about we just go with the Mongolian Knight? He's 17-9. He's been knocked out 3 times. He's fighting Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear is he's a minus 330 favorite last I checked. And Damon Blackshear has 11 submission wins. I'm sure the whole world is thinking Damon Blackshear by submission here, right? Well, I'm just going to be taking the money line if I bet it because something is telling me knockout. I don't know why, because Damon Blackshear only has 2 knockouts in his career out of his 16 wins. But it's because I watched Alatang Haley's fight with Song Yadong before they were in the UFC. And I saw that Alatang's got really good wrestling. And I see Damon Blackshear getting taken down and controlled on the ground for a little bit. And eventually, Alatang, I saw him going for takedowns. And when Song Yadong defended him, he kind of didn't reshoot. He didn't get back to his feet. He just kind of held on. And I could see Blackshear getting around to his back, taking his back, and going for a submission. Alatang defending and Blackshear getting a ground and pound stoppage. I don't know why that's what's playing in my head, Blackshear by knockout. But I think Damon Blackshear money line would be a lot safer because I could see it going to decision and I could see him submitting him. So, but definitely my official pick there is going to be Blackshear. Even though it's a minus 300, I'll probably put that in a couple parlays. There's a fight I did not know was on this card. Chris Gutierrez, the El Guapo. El Guapo. So I found out that he was fighting on this card against John Castaneda today when I got on UFC's website because it's not listed on FanDuel or DraftKings. I don't know who the favorite is, but I'm taking Gutierrez to beat John Castaneda by decision. John Castaneda is coming off of a loss to that guy. What is his name? With Marcos. He's coming off a loss to Marcos. Marcos is no slouch, so I'm not taking anything away from Castaneda there. But Chris Gutierrez, did you see when he first came into the UFC, he was like feeling himself a lot. I think he had a couple losses. He's not really looking as promising as he did early on in his UFC career. He knocked out Frankie Edgar, and I was like, dude, this dude, that shit, I was about to cry, dude. I remember all the boys at the house were like, oh, Frankie Edgar, because, I wasn't a fan of Frankie Edgar early on in his career, but then once these guys get a little bit older and they just keep going, you can't help but become a fan of Frankie Edgar. And when he got knocked out by Chris Gutierrez, I think people in my house cried. There was quite a few grown men in that house that got real quiet around that time when we saw Frankie Edgar sleeping. But he woke up, so it's all good. Chris Gutierrez is 21-6. John Castaneda's 21-7. Really similar records here. But Gutierrez level of competition, man. Song Yadong, Pedro Munoz, those are losses, but those guys are tough. I'm leaning Chris Gutierrez. I'm not sure the odds. He'll probably be a slight favorite. I'm taking him to win by decision in a 29-28 close fight, maybe split decision. All right. Simon was my first underdog pick, and now let's move on to my second underdog pick. Jimmy the Brick Flick by submission, because Matt Schnell is going to come out there and he's going to do the robot. You know what I'm talking about? With his head movement. He does this. I don't know what this is. I hope he don't see this and get pissed off at me. But that's what he does, right? He's like doing the robot and shit. And he's probably going to do all right with it because Jimmy Flick doesn't knock people out. Jimmy Flick has got 17 wins, 0 by knockout. He's been knocked out 6 times. I see this fight playing out with Matt Schnell, giving him the hands, doing the robot, and Jimmy Flick panic wrestling, getting a takedown, and submitting Matt Schnell as a big underdog. I'm taking Jimmy Flick by submission. And if not, he's probably going to be getting knocked out by Matt Schnell. So, when Wednesday rolls around, I'm going to be doing the under 2.5 there. I think either Schnell knocks him out or Flick submits Schnell. But I'm actually I'm not leaning towards Jimmy Flick because he's an underdog and it pays out well. I'm just leaning towards Jimmy Flick. I think he's going to win that fight. I think Schnell's on the way out. 3 straight losses, 2 of them by knockout. I think Jimmy Flick gets it done. I do want to make sure that I'm correct on Matt Schnell coming off of 3 straight losses. So we had remember when he got knocked out by Urseg and his head bounced off the ground? Yeah. We ain't worried about Jimmy Flick doing that, but I do think Jimmy Flick is going to submit Matt Schnell. All right. Matt Schnell. 3 straight losses. He got submitted by Cody Durden, knocked out by Steve Urseg, and knocked out by Nicolau. So he hasn't won since his Suma Darje triangle choke. Yeah, Jimmy Flick, submission. That's what I'm locking in. All right, let's get to the biggest favorite on the card, Ikram Aliskerov. Why is he such a big favorite? 2 losses to Bobby Knuckles, my fucking boy, and Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, dude, he lost to what? 2 out of the top 5? I mean, get real, dude. The dude's an animal. I think he beats Andre Muniz relatively easily. Andre Muniz could potentially submit Ikram Aliskerov. We saw Fabricio Verdum do it to Fedor. This could be similar, right? I mean, Aliskerov's no Fedor, Muniz is no Verdum, but Muniz did submit Jacare. But Muniz did get submitted by Brendan Allen, so I don't know. I got Ikram Aliskerov to make it look somewhat easy, maybe get caught in a submission at some point and scare me a little bit, but I think there's no value betting Aliskerov money line, minus 700 favorite, but I think he wins with somewhat of ease. Now let's get to Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. I'm going Brown. He's in my parlay, my 3-legger that I posted on Instagram and TikTok. I like Randy Brown here. I think he's long. I think he's rangy. I think Nicholas Dalby does the weird breathing thing, so that makes him kind of cool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch his fights. He thinks he's got some secret to MMA with his breathing, but the dude's 40, so I don't think his breathing's going to help him against Randy Rude Boy Brown. I think Randy gets it done by decision. Why by decision? Because Dalby has never been finished, dude. 23-5, 5 losses by decision. Randy Brown, decision, if he doesn't get caught. And I hope he doesn't get caught because he's in my parlay and it's going to hurt my feelings. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in Randy Brown. I'm not as confident as I am in Jacqueline Amarim, but I am pretty confident in Randy Brown getting it done, probably by decision. He ain't knocking that dude out. He ain't knocking Nicholas Dalby out. But Randy Brown. Okay. This is the one that I'm like, man, I'm going to say something stupid. And I'm going to have to start this video over. But we ain't starting the video over. I'm just not going to say anything stupid. Abus Magomedov. That might have been stupid because I probably said that wrong. He's fighting Michel Pereira. And Magomedov is an underdog. And I don't know why. Oh, don't say something stupid. Michel Pereira is not that good, right? Everybody just thinks he's good because he does backflips off the cage. He's beat a lot of good guys, but he's not that good, right? Am I imagining it? I mean, dude, he's like somebody will throw a kick and they'll slip, and then he'll be standing over him and he'll be doing this thing, and then he'll run and climb up on the cage and do a backflip and land like 6 feet away from the guy he's fighting, and everybody's like, oh my god, that's so cool. He fucking does a backflip kick and accidentally knees Poteria in the head or whatever. That should have been a DQ. He gets a submission. I bet on Pereira by knockout in that fight. And I don't know, dude. I don't think he wins this fight. And he's a favorite. Magomedov. Give me Magomedov as an underdog. I don't care if he was a 2-1 favorite. Give me Magomedov. Michel Pereira's, he can't get lucky again, dude. No. He lost the Hernandez fight. And I see this fight being similar, but I don't think Magomedov will get the finish. I think he's just going to win a decision over Pereira. I think Pereira tries to do some little backflip things, gets exhausted. Magomedov, I think Pereira will win a round, and I think it'll be the first round. And then I think he'll get dizzy from spinning and flipping and stuff. And then Magomedov will start to take over, win rounds 2 and 3, and win a decision there. So give me Magomedov as a dog. That's my third underdog pick. But it's not my favorite underdog pick, because my favorite underdog pick is Giga Chikadze. I said this last week. Did y'all forget about Dominic Reyes? Did y'all forget who he is and what he's done? I think y'all forgot about Giga Chikadze too. Giga Chikadze is so underrated. The loss to Calvin Kattar, Giga didn't look like himself. Okay? I remember he was supposed to fight Aldo at some point, and I was terrified. I'm the biggest Jose Aldo fan in the world, and when they said Giga was fighting Aldo, I was like, fuck. But luckily that fight didn't happen. Lucky for Giga, because Aldo was going to knock his fucking ass out. But didn't happen. Instead, he fought people like Cub Swanson, who he knocked out. And he fought people like Edson Barbosa, who he knocked out. And then the Calvin Kattar loss, he bounced back and beat Bruce Leroy, and then he lost to Arnold Allen. And now he's fighting David Onama, who lost to Nate the Train. He lost a decision to Nate Landwehr. And Giga Chikadze is an underdog. So he's in my 3-leg parlay. He's in my confident parlay with Randy Brown and Amarim. Giga Chikadze as an underdog. The dog of the week. The dog of the night. My favorite underdog. I'm taking Giga all day. Onward. Ming Yang Zhang versus Anthony Smith. I'm taking Anthony Smith. I'm kidding. I'm taking Ming Yang Zhang. I don't think it's going to be as easy as everybody thinks. I think Anthony Smith will put up a good fight. He did submit Vitor Petrino when everybody thought he was going to die. He had that win over Ryan Spann. But he had the bad knockout with Roundtree and the Dominic Reyes knockout. I think Anthony Smith has a chance in this fight. More of a chance than people are giving him credit for. I think Ming Yang Zhang gets it done. I do believe I will be definitely dabbling with some Anthony Smith inside the distance long shots next week. But for the most part, Ming Yang Zhang, that's who I'm going with. That's who I think is going to win the fight. Probably won't bet on him very much because he's too big of a favorite, but that is my official pick, Ming Yang Zhang. And to the main event. This is confidence and knockout power versus confidence and fight IQ, in my opinion. Carlos Prates, these guys are both long, lanky. Prates is like weird, long, lanky. And Ian Garry's like, he's just really good, man. It's hard to convince my friends that Ian Garry's going to win this fight because Prates is so fun to watch. But I think when it comes down to it, Ian Garry's fight IQ is just too high. We saw it with Shavkat Rakhmonov. We saw that Ian Garry knew who was better, and Shavkat knew who was better. But Ian Garry still thought he could win the fight, and he almost did. It was like I know this guy kicks my ass in the gym. I know he kicks other guys' asses that kick my ass in the gym. It was like he knew, but he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to find a way. And he almost did a couple times. So I think Ian Garry, you got to put him out cold for him to not be in the fight. You know, there's nobody at 170 is just going to go out there and beat up Ian Garry, because if there were, it was going to be Shavkat Rakhmonov. And now I also didn't think Paddy Pimblett would go out there and beat the fucking dog shit out of Michael Chandler either. And, you know, you see what happened. That's why MMA's wild, man. You never know. You never know. You got the bad referees that stop fights early, like in the Dan Ige fight with Sean Woodson, that should have went over 2.5. Should have not busted my parlay. And then you have the bad judges. When you got like that Carlos Leo versus Henat Frankendinov. You got bad refs, bad judges, and then you got heavy hitters. And these heavy hitters will mess up your parlays too because you know who's better, and then they get clipped and they go to sleep. So, that's why all my stuff is for informational purposes only. It's not advice because we don't know with MMA. There is no easy money. Fucking Tulio, that wasn't easy money. I thought it was easy money. I said it was easy money. Nothing's easy money. Trayshawn Gore was cracking them. Carlos Prates can crack Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry wins. I think he's got the better fight IQ. I think that if he goes out there and he tries point fighting with Prates, let's say wins round 1, let's say he gets clipped in round 2. I don't think he's going to go out there and point fight in round 3. I think he's going to shoot for a takedown, and if he doesn't get it, he's going to push him up against the cage like Merab does, work to his back, take his back, and stay there. I don't think he'll submit Prates, but I think he'll get to his back and he'll stay there, and he'll end up winning a decision. Ian Garry, 49-46 or 48-47. That's my official pick. Ian Garry over Carlos Prates. Now, quick recap. We got Jocelyn Edwards by decision, in my opinion. Then we got Roberto Romero to beat Timothy Kawamba by decision. We got Jacqueline Amorim to beat Pollyanna Vienna by submission. I got Cameron Simon to beat Malcolm Wellmaker. I want to say by knockout, but I think if Malcolm Wellmaker wins, it's by knockout, and I think Simon's got a good chance at knockout or decision. So we'll just keep it at Cameron Simon, my first underdog pick. Evan Elder versus Ahmad Hassanzada. I forgot about that fight. Evan Elder. I was thinking Hassanzada early on. I switched my pick over to Evan Elder. He just looks too tough, too durable. I like Evan Elder in that fight. We got Chris Gutierrez, probably by decision. Jimmy Flick to beat Matt Schnell by submission. Ikram Aliskerov to win by however he wants. Randy Brown to beat Nicholas Dalby by decision. Damon Blackshear to beat Alantang Hailey by, I don't know, submission or knockout. I'm not sure. I got Abbas Magomedov to beat Michelle Pajeda, probably by decision. Giga Chikadze, I think he's going to knock David Onama out. Giga by knockout. Ming Yang Zhang by whatever he wants. And Ian Garry by decision. So, I'll probably put these fights into FanDuel and DraftKings, see what they pay out if you do a full fight card parlay. I know that the Chris Gutierrez fight isn't available and the Roberto Romero fight isn't available. Might take the rest of them, drop them in a little parlay, see how much you'd have to bet to win 1,000. I'll share that up here somewhere. And I would recommend not tailing it because, it's probably not going to happen. We did hit a 12 leg like 3 weeks ago. So, you only hit a couple of those a year. So, it's probably not going to happen 3 weeks later, So, I would stay away from it. But I'll post it here in case you were wondering what I'm betting on. And then, so Wednesday, the next video will be up with the bets, the parlays. The way that we'll be doing that is I'll go over my favorite 3-leg parlay, which will feature fighters from all throughout the card, prelims, early prelims, main card, doesn't matter. Whatever my 3 favorite are, I can actually go ahead and tell you that it's going to be Amorim, Randy Brown, and Giga Chikadze. That's who I'll be putting in my favorite 3-leg parlay. If anything changes, I'll let you know on Wednesday. I'll do a parlay of my favorite 3 picks on the main card. And I will also break down the first 3 fights and do my favorite parlay on the first 3 fights on the early prelims so that maybe you can build yourself a little bankroll for the rest of the night. or I can build myself a little bankroll for the rest of the night. You could tail at your own risk. I wouldn't recommend it though. That'll be next week, so make sure you comment on this video what you think is going to happen so I can add it to the long shot parlay and you can get a chance at getting a piece of that 100,000. So like and subscribe, comment below. Don't forget, this is all for informational purposes only, and don't gamble unless you can afford to lose.